back of the net.
What is Emil Smith Rowe good at? What does he excel in, rather?
Excel? I think he excels in
dribbling.
Like, agility. His agility, I think, is excellent.
No, I think he's good on the ball as well.
There's not even that, but is that enough though?
Agility, yes. What does Odegaard excel at? Don't tell me his passing, please.
What do you mean?
His pass?
He has a great first touch. He has a great eye for a pass.
Nah.
What?
Of course he's
I don't think you want to see the Goliath we have at the back. The Goliath.
2. Spell much of
I'm a sergeant in my time like an Abri. Gatsby got me feeling great. I got a false 9 and an anchor. My wing is just there for the base. I know Nasby, yo, Sanya, or Adebayo. If I score this goal on a glide, Oliver Twist, man, I want some more. I got 3 out of the top, that's 4-3-3. My Spaniel boy racing clubs. When it comes to the new regime, if I shoot a shot like Haaland, I just want me a chocolate darling. Belgian thing, I defend like Van Marlin. Aim high, just shoot for the target. Me done talking.
Yes, people, you already know what it is. We're back live and direct for another episode of Free Up Top. My favourite guys, you know, the people, the gang. Here, Josh, Darren, my people. What are you telling me, man?
Cool, man.
Damn, man.
You what?
I'm governed.
Governed?
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean?
What that means? Like, I'm cool, innit?
I don't think that's real.
I've heard of that.
If Darren don't know what it means,
what the hell does that mean?
Then
Now I'm making up words.
Yeah.
The subscribers will know what I'm talking about.
I'm governed.
I'm governed. You like that one, though, innit?
Yeah.
Sounds alright.
That was the thing, man.
Yeah, I hear it, man.
Bless, man.
Bless. Cool. Obviously, production have called this episode Under Pressure. And you know what? Before we talk football, obviously I was thinking about it this week, and it seems like we always go to music to start episodes recently. But I feel like Meek as an artist is under pressure, you know. I don't know if you man agree, because I don't know if everyone's listened to the album yet. Expensive Pain.
I've listened to it still.
Like, there's a lot of guys, a lot of the senior citizens that are just not it anymore. And I'm not saying Meek's not it, because I think that might be outlandish.
That's a senior citizen.
But-
It's not disrespectful.
No, he's a senior citizen in
No,
the
I hear
music
you,
game.
yeah,
Do you know what I
I
mean?
hear you.
I think he might not be, like, for example, when Meek was coming to London, I didn't even flinch.
Yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm not going.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When back in the day,
I'm not the biggest
Meek
Meek
fan.
Mill fan anyway.
Fair
But
enough.
even on that subject, you can tell he's been under pressure for time, man. Like, the guy's always tweeting, fam. Like, the man that always talk, they're always under pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a correlation there, man. He's feeling the pressure, man.
To be fair, I ain't listened
Yeah,
to it.
listen to it, yeah.
No. When did it drop?
This week, innit? Sometime this
It
week.
dropped on Friday.
I had high expectations as well, so what? It ain't impressive.
I think it might be better than CLB.
And listen.
No, but
Meek
people
is certified
But
for
people
me.
are saying it's better than championships, which I think is just outlandish.
I need to go back to Championships. But remember, Championships was off the back of him coming out of prison, innit?
Yeah. So it
That was
obviously
the
has the
serious
added
album,
effect.
so-
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, even DC. All the DCs are hard as well. DC4, DC3.
Yeah, of course.
For me, I just think Meek's cold. Bars. Do you get what I mean?
Can we
Whatever
talk
track that he's
about,
on.
me and your favourite rap album currently this year, possibly.
Hey, what's that again?
Don't leave me behind on this one, man.
No. I'm so sorry.
Baby King, man.
Oh, sorry.
Baby.
The people that probably don't know Baby Keem, innit?
Probably
That's why
don't
they
know
want to
it.
bring it up.
Probably don't know it, man. But check that one out.
Check that one out.
Very
Definitely. Cool. Let's get straight into things. I mean, we spoke about under pressure music scene. Obviously, move it to the football scene. Pep, I think, definitely, especially on this podcast, we've spoken a lot about Pep from last season. Klopp, again, especially with like Van Dijk, and there were a number of questions that were asked. We might have seen the best game of football since 18-19 Man City Liverpool.
Yeah, literally.
Do you remember this 18-19 where Sane scored that goal across the face of goal? It was Sane and I forgot who scored. 2-1 at the Etihad. Liverpool scored that like world class goal. I think Trent played like a crossfield ball to Robertson, who like crossed it in to Firmino, something like that. Anyway, but
it was a crazy game.
Like
so.
basically, the question is that do we think these are the two best teams in Europe right now? Man City and Liverpool.
Funny enough, I literally, because I was watching the game with Matt, obviously one of the man them, I said, this is probably the best game in football right now.
Is it?
Because El Clasico is a niche game. Bayern and Dortmund, those two obviously have good games, but Dortmund, I wouldn't put them up there with a City or Liverpool. I genuinely think that this is the biggest game in football, and it lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
Like, the game was from the jump. But City, though, for me, it just showed why that 100 mil that they spent on Grealish should have been spent on a striker. Because for me, they would have been 2-0 up in the first half. In the first half, if they had a striker.
I think it's a game that we should have won still.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially when you look at it, the balance of the whole game. Second half, you know Liverpool are going to come back with a different attitude.
Yeah.
Klopp was probably onto them in the changing room. Because first half, they were stinking up the
all
joint.
over the place still.
In Anfield. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, I think City really dropped the ball, to be honest. They should have got the 3 points. But it was a big-time game, man. Like, the two top teams, two top managers. That's what you want to see, man.
And I think I think this is, I'll say modern day, but this is like the current El Clasico, man. Do you get what I'm saying? In a sense. And I think the thing that makes this fixture so special is the fact that both teams are always up for it still.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, you have them fixtures where one team is just usually just in form and just batter the other team in a derby game.
Yeah.
This game is like both teams kind of know what's at stake here. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's always like, fam, the energy look like, bro. At the end of the game, I think we're literally just going back and forth, man. Do you know what I mean? The last couple of minutes, whatever. And I think there was a chance where Kevin De Bruyne tried to slip in. I think it was Walker, like right at the end. His legs
I
were
think
gone.
he made a mistake.
Yeah,
But
he had a bad game.
I think for me, I wasn't too angry at that because I think the energy that was expended throughout the whole game, like it was a tiresome. I could see how tired these men were. For sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's testament to them, man. Do you know what I mean? The level of competition is very high, and both teams are right, man. I think a draw was reasonable for today. Still, do you know what I'm saying?
Cool.
To add to that, innit?
Yeah, go on.
In boxing, you say styles make fights. That's why I think this game is so good as well, because typically, as you said, it's like one team will come in form and then they'll normally get the win. But with these two teams, it's like City's obviously the possession base, trying to dictate the game. Liverpool they only need 3-4 seconds to get the ball up the pitch and the ball's in the goal. Salah's goal. Do you get what I mean? Salah beat Rodri, past 2-3 man, boom, the ball's in the back of the net. Do you get what I mean? So I think the fact that they're so different in styles also makes it an interesting matchup.
I think, for me, obviously, this is a bit of a different take, a bit left field to what you man have mentioned. But I think what this game showed me is, like, there's an obsession with the way your team should play. People want expansive football now these days. I think people want... There are certain people that want philosophy over success.
But maybe it's about clarity, though. I don't think everyone wants to see tiki-taka. Everyone wants to know that my team has a style of play. Not that it has to be specific.
But that's my point, though. I don't think so.
You don't think that's important?
I think obviously I know you, so you prioritize winning. Of course, you want your team to play well.
Yeah.
If you knew your team was this type of team, you might not like it, but as long as it was producing results, you'd be fine.
I'll be alright.
But I'm talking about the masses. I think there's an obsession with a way you should play. So I think that you need to play like City, you need to play like Liverpool. When really and truly, you just need to play to
winning ball.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Winning football. But anyway, it's neither here or there. What I wanted to...
But I do agree in terms of the passing out the back, all that shit. Everyone, fam, but we know sports is about, it's copycat.
Yeah.
You copycat what the top teams are doing.
But what I wanted to kind of hone in on is, like, obviously we saw... I think Salah had a great performance. I don't think KDB had a great performance, but he came up with a clutch goal at the pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Where do you rank these two in the world? Because obviously now arguments in the Premier League are bar Ronaldo because it's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And he just got here. He just got got back.
But like KDB and Salah are like two of the best players we've seen in Premier League history. Like I think now they've put themselves in a conversation where, you know, when we talk about all-time excites, they're in the conversation.
Bro, yeah, they're one of the top picks. They're going in the first or second round.
Do you know what I mean? So where are they in the world right now?
I think if when FIFA do their yearly FIFA World XI or Europe XI, they're there, man. Like, they're both there, man. I think in their respective positions, they're the best in their positions in the world. For me, anyway, innit?
So Salah's better than Neymar and Mbappe, yeah?
I think, yeah, right now, yeah.
I think so.
Salah and Mbappe.
Right now.
I mean Neymar and Mbappe.
And do you want this as well? I think for me, there's a lot of variables in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to kind of look at it with a bit of detail here, but cool. Let's kind of go through them very quickly, innit? level of competition, Salah's playing in the hardest league in Europe,
significantly,
and he's been badding it up
for years.
For years.
For years.
Do you know what I'm saying? Not only does he do it in the Premier League, he goes to the Champions League, which he's won, and he does his thing there as well. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think he's the top goal scorer in the Champions League or something like that. Right now.
What currently?
I don't even know. I can check.
But probably since he's got to Liverpool, so no one's got more goals than him in the Champions League.
Yeah, man. And then as well as that is like availability.
Don't get injured.
Salah rarely gets injured.
And Neymar is a bag of bones. When was the last time Neymar was fit for Champions League, man?
Do you get what I'm saying, fam? Then, as well as that, when he is fit, we've seen Neymar not turn up in the Champions League.
In the big games.
So, the final against Bayern Munich, albeit we didn't really back PSG to win, however, he played pants.
Yeah.
Last year, across 2 legs against Man City, he had one half out of 2 games where he played well. Apart from that, niche. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like, yeah, talent-wise, Neymar is leaps and bounds probably ahead of Salah. But when it actually comes to performing and showing up, and Salah does it against big teams, bro. He doesn't just do it against the Norwich.
Bro.
He'll slap 4 against Norwich when he'll still bite up against City.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. He came Old Trafford and dusted us last season as well.
I think you got to give him man his flowers, man. Do you get what I mean? You definitely got to give him his flowers, man.
No, I agree. And I like the way he broke it down as well. Level of competition. I think technical ability, that's when you could say the other guys have the edge. Do you get what I mean? But fam, you said it. It doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're getting it done. Do you know what I mean? And Mo Salah gets it done, bro. Like, regardless of the context, whatever you want to say. For me, you don't go wrong by picking Mo Salah. But just to add to that, innit, to go back to the question, you said, where would I rank them? I think they're both top 10. Comfortably.
10 is like very large. Like, we know they're top 10. We're saying, do you think they break into top 5, maybe even top 3? Who's your top 3 right now in the world?
Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski.
Oh, so you don't think Salah's above Lewandowski? Why is Salah not above Lewandowski based on Josh's arguments?
Lewandowski's always available. Lewandowski's done it for longer. Lewandowski's done it at the highest level. I think level of competition you can argue, but Lewandowski would do it anywhere. I don't think anyone's saying Lewandowski comes Prem.
I think you could slap Salah in that Bayern Munich team, and he'll be doing bits.
Yeah, he'll be doing bits, but he ain't usurping Lewandowski. Lewandowski's still the main man on that team. If Salah pulls up.
Yeah. Lewandowski probably isn't getting 40 last season though if Salah's in that team.
Yeah, so Salah ain't swinging in the ball. You don't need to, but
Nah, I don't like. But you see what I mean when we were talking about. Obviously, I know you were joking, but we were talking about the narratives. 2 weeks ago was it when we were talking about goal scoring duos? Bro, Salah made a great assist to Mane today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, this guy does it all. Do you know what I mean?
I think the in as much as he's my player and I want to protect him, I think the bigger or the more controversial argument is where does KDB sit? Because today I wasn't too impressed with his performance in it. He came in clutch with the goal, of course. But just as a whole, I wasn't too impressed. Something I was saying to you in the car was that it's a bit different when you're trying to compare Salah and KDB because obviously they play different positions and they have different responsibilities. I think personally you won't see the best out of KDB when he's not paired with a striker in it. It may sound like an excuse, but you got to look at what the guy's on.
I agree, but don't you think that's a detriment that your success is reliant on someone, not reliant, but
Salah's
it's
a goal
dependent.
scorer, innit?
That's what makes him more effective. That he doesn't need anybody to.
Can you like, this is not even me disagreeing, I'm just trying to pick your brain. Can you mention a great creator who hasn't had good enough players to finish? I'm not saying KDB don't have good enough players, but he don't have
Hazard. Hazard was banging with Giroud, and
Giroud's a finisher though. He played with Costa.
No, but I'm saying he wasn't relying on Giroud to put the chances away. He was just relying to hold it up, let me come get it back, and then I'll go make something happen.
And then I think, I think another thing is, I personally think that KDB has more responsibility in this Man City
team. And to be fair, Hazard is a different type of creator. Like KDB is more of a not static, but he's more.
Yeah, he's central. Yeah. So and I'd agree that he does have more responsibility as well.
There's some games where he is playing at midfield 3. There's some games where he's playing false 9. I've even seen some games he's played out left. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like the actual burden of responsibility that he has in the City team is much more than Salah has in that Liverpool team. Man.
Are we saying that Salah is above KDB though?
That's the debate, innit? I personally think you can go either way, but right now I go Salah. Because we know the most valuable thing in football is goals.
I think it does definitely swing based on the form that each are in.
Exactly.
Salah right now is in better form, so at the moment I'll pick Salah. But
who do you think? I'm just saying, who do you think? It's not about form now. Like.
So okay, cool. So if we all had to pick if we all starting
if we're building a team,
we have to pick one player. Yeah. It's KDB
or Salah.
Who you going for?
Who you going for? But even the build, if you're building a team, there's bare different
Exactly, because there's other guys in Salah's position.
I'm just talking about who is the when we say best player, they're both attacking players. Like, for example, when we look at we can look at Iniesta and Neymar and just say who we think is better. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love Neymar to bits, but I would always take Iniesta just because I love the way he plays. And maybe I'm biased because I was a centre mid as well. And there's a lot of people there that would say Neymar's by far better. And look, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I'd prefer. So who would you prefer then? Who would you prefer?
KDB, I can't.
Yeah,
is it?
I'm taking KDB.
I take Salah, you know. And I would even say, do you know what might be controversial? I would even say Pep would take Salah over KDB if he had the option of the two.
Impossible.
You know why? Because when you look what he's done to Raheem, maybe you could argue that.
Let me tell you why. The reason why.
But then KDB is so important to see.
Of course, I'm not. We're not, bro. We're literally arguing between
splitting hairs. We're splitting
orange
hairs.
and an apple.
Yeah,
it depends on what day. what are you feeling? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think for me, what it is about Salah and what Pep, like, deep what Klopp is getting out of Salah now. We didn't think Salah could get this.
Way. We didn't even think he could get half of this.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah. Came to the league 52-44, 52 games, 44 goals, first season. 52-27, second season. 48-23, third. 51-31, fourth. And now he's 9-9 this season. Like, he's 9-9. Like, but, fam, I just think Pep here, what he does with his wingers / goal scorers. Like, remember what he used to do with Henry, Pedro, David Villa, even some ballers you might not remember, Isaac Cuenca, Bojan Krkic. Like, he was getting production from his winger. So imagine now a winger that, like, not thinks for himself, but is already an elite winger.
Yeah, I definitely think if we have Salah, we don't need a striker still.
If you have Salah, you don't need KDB.
No, I disagree.
You don't. Let me tell you something. Let me break something down.
Hold on. Quickly. No. The reason I say that is because, aside from just the numbers, innit, I just think there's something about the way KDB controls the tempo that we play at that is just much different than any midfielder that we have in it. Like, he literally dictates he dictates our play. Do you get what I'm saying?
And not to add to that, anybody's a threat when he's on the ball. If you got
off the ball, when he's on the ball, anyone's a threat off the ball.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. That even if there's a dead person making the run,
and then as well as that, you got to look at it in high level situations. Yeah, when it's not just about getting the ball forward; it's about actually control and.
Last question then.
Do you get what I'm saying?
There's
so much more.
Let's wrap up the segment then. Last question: what do you think's harder to do in a Pep system? Control the ball or finish the chance?
Control the ball. Because I think that if everything is working right in a Pep system, he's going to make the easiest opportunity to
tap-ins.
Do you get what I'm saying?
You're getting tap-ins.
A lot of our goals from last season's byline cross. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, not last season. The whole time Pep's been there.
Exactly, it's like byline cross. So, but I think that the difficulty in understanding how Pep plays is you have to be tactically switched on, and that is the hard. Like, bro, there's a reason why Pep has allowed certain players to go that we just think that would. Bro, even start from the goalkeeper. Joe Hart, when Pep came in, was one of the best goalkeepers in the league. He had to fling because there's a tactical component that he just can't do. So I think that definitely controlling the play is much more harder to do in a Pep system.
And that's a more of a priority.
Yeah.
Dad, I think he puts that first before scoring goals.
I think it's interesting though, because then like with the argument that I made, who would Pep choose, Salah or KDB? I still go with Salah and I stand with Salah. Klopp, if he would still choose Salah, obviously that's because of the type of manager
the system,
he is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, bro, it's an interesting debate.
But yeah, the argument you can make to what you said is, I think Pep can make any decent forward get 10, 15 goals.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Some people were saying Ferran Torres, he's dead, he's never going to cut at City. Man started the season on fire. People have question marks about Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is wrapping him in. Do you know what I mean? I feel like even if you're subpar,
we played the game
still
with
gonna
a
make
striker, but he started on the wing and we played a winger false 9. So for me, the of course scoring goals is the objective, but it's the means in which you get there. That's important for Pep. Because I feel like if you play to the way Pep wants you to play, the goals will come. It doesn't matter who gets them; they will come in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I hear that, man. That's an interesting one, man. I mean, one thing that we can't like dispute, and one thing that will stay on my mind forever is that Chelsea Football Club had both of them.
Yeah.
Like, we had KDB and we had Salah.
And Lukaku.
And one man, only one man sold them both.
The greatest manager in the history of your club.
Bro, nah. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? It's crazy. I think that's like one of the biggest blights. I always say that the Salah one, do you know what? Fair enough. You could never have predicted that. But the KDB one,
we knew he was on smoke.
His debut was great.
Was
I don't know if Adam, if you remember his debut against Hull, where we played KDB, Oscar, and Hazard behind Costa.
Do you know how mad that free is?
Bro, the mad thing is, it was Oscar that was the guy.
You know how mad that free is, bro. KDB, Oscar, and Hazard.
Oh my days!
And you probably had Salah and Schürrle on the bench.
Imagine you give Oscar, Hazard, and KDB to Klopp or to Pep.
No, Pep will turn them
running
into
running
riot still.
For sure, man, for sure. Alright, cool. Obviously, it's always good to start an episode with a little icebreaker, talking about two of the greatest talents we've seen in the Premier League. But let's flip the switch a little bit. I want to focus on the other end of things, and it's the managers that we think. Oh, not that we think. I've got them in my mind, and I want to see what you lot think. Managers that are under pressure between Brendan Rodgers and his Leicester team, who have started kind of
not bad. Yeah, I think they got 8 points in 7 games.
Oli and Man United and Mikel Arteta. Obviously, Arsenal fans started getting excited because they got 3 wins on the bounce. Brighton humbled them. Brighton should have won.
100
by far.
100. Brighton just need a striker.
I was speaking to an Arsenal fan. I won't say his name, but he said it was because of the weather. No, he actually said
shameless
because of the weather.
Yeah, whatever, man. Out of those three managers, who do we think could get sacked first?
It's a sticky one for me because I feel like...
Is it?
Yeah, because all of them are in sticky situations, but it's like they have different
they're not
backing.
They're not in sackable situations yet, but they're like...
Close, but then there's also... Things change Look at Arsenal now. Arsenal, I feel like... Arsenal, I'm seeing everywhere, does Arteta deserve an apology? Because of free... No, bro, that's the title for a lot of shows and stuff.
Tottenham.
Do you get what I mean? And then the Oli thing, Oli inners are starting to shift over to the Oli outside. So I think... And Brendan's got off to a shocking start. But then he won the FA Cup and the Community Shield.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of equity. Do you get what I mean? Right now I'd say Oli. Because we've been poor. Like, performance-wise, it's been poor. No trophies for 3 years. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo, you've got Jadon Sancho, you've got Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and for me things just aren't clicking. Do you know what I mean? Even people in the media now are starting to, get to a point where they're saying, listen, we can't, the excuses are starting to run out for Oli now. Do you know what I mean? Rio, Gary Neville, those guys are starting to say, listen, things just aren't looking how they're supposed to look. Do you know what I mean?
I think
they'll rarely say his name, but yeah, I'd say Oli, man. It's just because the expectations are high, and he ain't hitting.
I would disagree. I'd go with Brendan. Reason being, if you look at City, if you look at United and Arsenal, they're more the 2 heritage clubs of the Prem, and since their 2 figureheads being Alex Ferguson and Wenger have left, they've gone through large periods of like instability. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like they're now at a point where it's like, okay, cool, let's settle, try and build something. Do you know what I mean? Let's try and kick on here. But I feel like for Leicester, it's much different, man. I don't think they'll have much of a problem in shaking the table a bit. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like for Arsenal and United, they'll pretty much try to see the season through as best as they can, and from there, kind of see what the next steps are. Whereas I feel like for Leicester, last season, they bottled it. The final game of the season, do you know what I mean, to get top 4.
For sure. And now they did the same the year before as well.
Same again the year before. This season, they're going off to a rocky start. So it might be like, alright, cool, you know what, Brendan, do you know what I mean, you've come in, you've done a good job, but maybe this is as far as you can take us, innit? And I feel like Leicester probably are one of the 3 clubs, are probably the one club that are less afraid to kind of pull the plug.
I hear it. I just think the expectations aren't the same. But
then that's why I think that Leicester would pull the plug before United and Arsenal do.
I think. Look, we all have different opinions then, because I have
Mikel.
Yeah, I think he's the most under pressure without a shadow of a doubt, because if you look at like what's the common denominator between Leicester and Man United? No one can dispute the fact that progress has been made. in any respect that you want to call it, Leicester have got an FA Cup Community Shield. Leicester also have a squad that many predicted could finish in the top 4. Ollie, for all the Van Gaals, the Mourinho's that came in, the David Moyes, finally now you have a team which you actually now believe can do something. So the only reason why Ollie's now in the question of being sacked is because you think, cool, he's done all he can.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that gives them less reason or more reason, the board, to be loyal to the guy who built it and see what he can do with that. I think Mikel Arteta has not shown, for me personally, any signs of progression as opposed to Unai Emery, who's shown progression with his Villarreal side and has won them a Europa League. Like, we need to be real as football fans and think about it like this in terms of progress needs to be at the fundamental basis of any footballing side. And Arsenal now have a team where it's unrecognisable to the Wenger era. I mean, Saka wasn't under Wenger. Aubameyang last season was under Wenger. You have Emile Smith-Rowe not under Wenger. What's it called?
Was another one.
Xhaka was there, but he didn't play yesterday. Partey, no. Lokonga, no. Tierney, no. Gabriel, no. Holding. Holding didn't even start. Ben White, no. Ramsdale, no. Tomiyasu, no. So, bro, he's got his own side. He's got his team. He's eliminated the bad noise or the bad air, or whatever they called it. So for me, Arteta is definitely under the most pressure because at like 3 wins and people are suddenly giving him smoke. This is smoke that he hasn't had. Like, let's not forget, last season he was on a treacherous run, and then Chelsea gave him that 3-0 win saved him. So for
and
me,
they came
like,
Old Trafford, got points.
He's free, like losses on the bounce away from being under that same pressure again. So, like, just as a final point with Arteta as well, I just think that when I compare Brendan Rodgers, we know what he is as a manager. He's always been questioned about what can he do. He's capped. I'm looking at his Liverpool finishes here. First season 7th, second season 2nd, third season 6th, and then he got sacked in the 4th season with them in 10th. Like, we can see that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see what he's capable of.
Even with Leicester, they've been on the brink of getting top 4, but
brink, and now they're teetering. Ollie, we know what he is as well. Like, we know he's a manager who can get you top 4. He's got top 4, I think.
Yeah, I think he got top 4
last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's got 2nd place in the last 2 years. No,
I think
no.
I think year before we finished.
Yeah. But he's got top 4 in the last 2 years, and we know what he can do. We know he's capped in the fact that he can't get you to the next level. Arteta, tell me what he can do.
It's TBC.
Because he what he has done, and what I can tell you he has done, is he's got Arsenal out of the Champions League.
No, but Arsenal, they didn't get back in the Champions League with Emery.
He's got Arsenal out of the Europa League. Or are they in the Europa League? No, they are. They're not in the Europa League,
no.
Yeah, they're
well,
not.
Arsenal fans, that's what they wanted.
They're not even in the Conference League.
They didn't want to be in the Conference League.
Yeah, but it's still
European
places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but my thing with Arteta is, just to counter what you're saying, is I feel like the expectations are on the floor right now, Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal aren't. I think Kroenke's just thinking, listen, we stay in the league, we collect our paycheck, we keep the cycle. We keep the cycle going. Do you know what I mean? The reason why I said Ollie, because relative to the expectations, I believe he's falling short. Brendan, I don't really think he's obviously, but it would be a huge achievement for them to get into the top 4.
But don't you think that Ollie and Arteta have invested more into their current projects than Brendan has? Hence why they would probably get more lifeline than Brendan would, because it's like, okay, cool. You have these resources now. Let's try and see how far you can exhaust them. Yeah. Before we actually decide what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. In that, like Leicester might think...
Smith-Rowe project now that Arteta has, how far can he kind of push their progress?
Yeah.
Or whatever, before it's like, okay, cool. Now, you being his kind of detriment to the whole development of the club. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear it. I think you can see it both ways, because with Leicester, you could also actually... I think Vardy's top goal scorer in the league right now, so it's like there's not a lot of excuses for Brendan, so I hear it. Arteta, he's still living off that FA Cup that he won. He's still living off that.
He's living off that, man.
Huh?
Well, you think if he didn't have the FA Cup, he'd be gone already?
I think so. Last season, he would have got sacked if he didn't have that FA Cup that he was riding on.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Similar with Brendan this season. Like, if they have a subpar season, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays.
Cool now.
Because he's got silverware. Ollie ain't got that.
But the question is, who's more likely to pull it round when they're in their deep troubles? Arteta's least likely out of the three, to pull it around.
Well, at least United got Ronaldo.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
And
should
Leicester
that
have the Jamie Vardy.
But our expectation is minimum top 4. Do you get what I mean? So for me, that's not credit to Oli, the fact that Ronaldo's bailing you up.
But I think what you're doing though is setting your expectations different to the clubs.
You don't think the club's expectation is minimum top 4?
No. I'm saying I don't think the club will sack Oli for only finishing in the top 4.
I don't think so either.
And that's my point though.
Yeah.
That's why I've already said Man United will finish in the top 4. Mm-hmm. So he's done the bare minimum.
But that... Yeah, no, and I agree, and I don't think he'll get sacked either.
You can disagree with the expectations. I think that's a different debate.
Yeah, but not for us, but the board. I think if Oli gets top 4, I think he stays.
You're not keeping him in just for getting top 4.
If he gets top 4 and gets to a final again, like a Champions League final, he'll keep his job.
Yeah, you will.
I don't even think he has Champions League semi-final. He'll keep his job.
Yeah, exactly.
Oli's like a shield for the board, fam. So I don't think they'll. I think Oli's comfy right now.
I think insofar as Oli doesn't. If he maintains the levels that he set, he's safe.
Why do you think?
Yeah, but the levels are gonna drop when you've got so much talent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point, though.
Exactly.
And that's why I hate. That's why I hate you, man.
There's not that much pressure.
But
then I also think the expectation, like Arsenal, bro. Arteta's had them bottom half of the table. They've probably been bottom half longer than they've been top half under Arteta.
They're bottom half right now,
and he's still employed.
But all it takes for me is Arsenal's still a big club. Noise carries traction. But he like for me, Arsenal won't go on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, no.
But they are very likely to go on a losing streak. So for me, who's more likely to go on the losing streak? Who's more likely to not have the weight or the equity to say, I deserve to stay in the job? Who has the best plan currently in place? And who has the best talent? Bro, every single question is either whether the question is supposed to be in favour or not in the favour. It's the answer is Mikel Arteta. Why do you think Oli's smiling after each game?
Because he's comfy, you know, his job security is there.
His toes and just started smiling. You're the tongue.
Oli started wagging his tongue like he was about to knee slide.
I couldn't believe
in the corner.
Embarrassing, man. Embarrassing.
Nah.
But another thing on Arteta, a lot of people say, this is the first time he's had a fit squad. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's fit. Gabriel's back, Tierney's back. You've got Tomiyasu now, not that dead Don Bellerin. Do you know what I mean? Xhaka's probably the only guy that's missing. Do you know what I mean? And even that, you know, there's a lot of complaints about him. Do you know what I mean? He brought in the Congo. He's supposed to be a good player. So I feel like, you know, Arteta, and a lot of it is about, you know, he's the right man for the plan. That's what the conversation is around Arteta.
Don't you guys even think, because this is something that I was saying at the end of last season as well, the fact that they're not in any European spots puts a lot less pressure on Arsenal, man, because now it's more so cool, let's take a break from the club's overall success now and just work on building your
exactly squad, and you do that while playing one game a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get what I mean? So
the toll is much easier, whereas for Brendan it's like Leicester for a while now they've been knocking on that door. But do you know what I mean, because of him or because of his incapabilities of really getting them over that line, it's like now it's like, okay, cool, if you can't get us over that little hump, and
that's why I hear Brendan. But then again, do you think another manager comes in and does that?
I think so, because I feel like Leicester haven't been, since they've won the title, they've been relatively successful.
Relatively. Yeah, this is new territory to be better than either Manchester United, Chelsea, City or Liverpool. Okay, cool. That's a tough ask.
But then he might have been the man just to, he might have been the man just to keep him beckoning at the door for now, but then there has to be someone else that can kind of really take him.
And that's the same point that we make about Oli.
But then it comes back to the point, it still revolves back to what I'm saying. If you had to have any of these three managers, who wouldn't you have?
Oh, Arteta.
Yeah,
exactly. And if we had to, or if we didn't trust anyone to get out of their situation, it would be Arteta as well.
It's also Oli. I don't trust Oli.
No, but Oli, at least, even if it's the most illogical argument ever, Oli has some sort of judge where he gets out of trouble all the time.
Yeah, but that ain't leading to silverware. That is going to lead you to saving your job.
About silverware, though. We're talking about your job.
Saving your job. True,
exactly.
True.
That's why I said, even though your expectations for Man United are different and they're where they should be, winning trophies and winning titles,
the threshold for Oli is not high.
Exactly. Yeah, the threshold is just different. Whereas I think the threshold for Mikel Arteta, who's more likely to break their threshold or not meet up to standards, I think it's.
But I feel like Arteta's already done that, and he still got away scot-free.
I mean, we'll see, man. Let's see if he does it for another season, doesn't get them into Europe. I don't think he will still have a job.
So, what do you feel about this Arsenal team with a fit squad? Because I feel like the lineup actually look decent now that everyone's fit.
I'm still not convinced by the tactics, though.
I've seen some promising play. I feel like the way they dispatched Tottenham was quite convincing. Scored some good goals there, but I just think for me, like, it's even just mad. Like, Aubameyang had the best game that he had all season against Tottenham, but then against Brighton, he just seemed non-existent, man.
Not good at all.
No, they got dominated against Brighton.
But one thing I will say though, and people might disagree with me, and like it's up for discussion, but I think that their best talent is Emile Smith-Rowe. Like, of course, everyone loves Bukayo Saka and whatnot and everything, and he probably is the only. And Odegaard's in the discussion as well. Bro.
Odegaard was that guy at 16.
Odegaard's their best talent.
Bro, Emile Smith-Rowe is their best talent. Aesthetically, what he's able to do when he carries the ball, but he's not supposed to finish. He's a creator. He wants to
he's
create.
supposed to. Like, you can't say he's not supposed to finish.
Yeah,
as in, like, I'm talking about, of course.
That's not like the bulk of his responsibility.
Yeah, that's not the bulk of his responsibilities to finish chances. And I mean, I've seen him finish, and I've seen him. He attracts attention, and for me, players who attract attention are the best players, the best kind of players.
They make other guys.
Of course, Saka does it, but I just think when you're thinking about, in your opinion, who has the highest ceiling in the Premier League? Then Emile Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, or Saka? Ceiling in terms of who can be the best, not who will last the longest. Who can get to their peak in the Premier League?
I think Odegaard. Nah, genuinely do think Odegaard.
There's no way on earth you've seen enough from Odegaard to say that.
I have.
You haven't.
I saw him for a whole season last season.
And he was mid at best.
And I've seen him this season. I think this season's probably been their first or second best player.
Yeah. No.
Bear in mind though.
Who's been their first best player? It's been Emile Smith-Rowe, bro. It's not even a thing.
Yeah,
it's been Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yes, but it's marginal.
I don't think so.
I think for me, like the way like Smith-Rowe plays and the way Odegaard plays, fair enough. Like even though they play similar positions, they're quite different. But Odegaard is more of a controller. I think as Odegaard matures, he could definitely be that Fabregas moldish kind of player.
But just look
innit?
Who do you think makes a striker look better?
Answer your question. Answer my question first.
Not even a striker, your team.
Is that what you think Odegaard's about?
I think Odegaard makes the team look better.
Emile Smith-Rowe does. I'm telling you now, the players who attract attention have the higher peaks. Bro, there's a reason why Ravel Morrison...
So you prefer that than someone that can put eye through a needle type passes?
That can control games, bro.
No, eye through a needle type passes. What's more valuable to you guys? That's an important
What's
question.
more valuable, eye of the needle or attracting attention?
Or controlling games out of the three?
No, controlling games is the most important...
And it's the hardest.
It's the hardest as well. But when we're talking about cams now. What's more important for a cam, to control the game, attract attention, or eye of the needle passes? What do you think?
I have needle passes for me. Or attract attention.
I think
that is significant.
I get that eye of the needle passes.
But then if the guys around you are aft, then you can attract all the attention you want.
But Bruno Fernandes, for example, I would say can play an eye of the needle pass. Yeah. However, he needs about 5 of them to get it right.
Yeah, I hear that.
Why is Bruno so good though? Because Bruno attracts attention. Do you know what I mean?
And he puts the ball in the back of the net.
What is Emile Smith-Rowe good at? What does he excel in, rather?
Excel? I think he excels in
dribbling.
Like, agility. His agility, I think, is excellent.
No, I think he's good on the ball as well.
There's not even that, but is that enough though?
Agility, yes. What does Odegaard excel at? Don't tell me his passing, please.
What do you mean?
His pass?
He has a great first touch. He has a great eye for a pass.
Nah.
What?
Of course he's
I think he's a very good dribbler as well.
I think every attacker in the league has a good eye for a pass.
My
point about Odegaard. No, I'm talking about the
top teams.
The top teams. I should have specified top teams and the attackers, like the front line.
Yeah.
So apart from the striker,
Lukaku can't pass. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you said apart from the striker. Sorry.
And
you said that late.
On top of that, what's it called? When we're talking about like what stands out, what strikes out to you when you look at.
For me, it's the passing.
Smith-Rowe just works harder for me, man. I think I should say it, fam. But I think Odegaard's a better player, bro.
Nah.
I would say. This
guy was a child prodigy.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't mean anything. That's my point, though.
I'm not saying that to say that he's better than
Perfect example is
Smith-Rowe, but
Perfect
The guy's
example.
been a baller, man.
Perfect example is a guy like Yuri Tielemans, child prodigy, but we can't keep making excuses like that. He's the best because he was a child prodigy. For example,
No, but that's not the reason
Yeah,
why Tielemans elite. I think he's just.
I
a
don't
great
think
player.
he's elite though.
I think he's one of the best.
I think
centre-mids in the league.
this season he's having a very, very subpar season.
Fair.
And my point is, like, let's not.
He's
use
a
the
squad man. He wants that.
Let's not use the child prodigy thing. Fair enough. To basically judge a player. Alright, cool. We're getting to the end of the show now. Just two little things to discuss. Or not so little, depending on how you view this question. But one thing I definitely wanted to discuss is that obviously, you know, on a lot of podcasts we speak a lot about the big teams, obviously the teams that we support and whatnot. But I think it's important to look at some of the other players that are playing outside the top six, the traditional top six. So Arsenal, Tottenham, Leicester, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. I said Leicester, not Leicester, but let's include Leicester.
Yeah. Okay.
So top seven.
Because that's a big.
I
one.
think they're inside. If we're including Arsenal, we're including and Tottenham, we're
And
including
Tottenham.
Leicester.
Alright, cool.
So outside the traditional top seven, who do you think the best player is? Who stands out as the best player outside the traditional top seven? Who wants to go first? Say your names first and then give your.
I don't even like come with names prepared. I'm just gonna.
No, just say who naturally.
I think.
Just one name and then we'll say our names and then you can give your explanation.
I'm not. I might agree with you, man. Innit? I'm just gonna throw out names in.
Alright, cool.
Declan Rice.
Oh, you think it's Declan Rice?
No, I don't.
Basuma.
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 I think it's Basuma, man. I think outside of that traditional seven or whatever, he's the best player, man. And I think if you line up all the players that are outside of that list and the ones that are beckoning a big move, I think he's up there, man.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that Arsenal went with a briefcase of, 40, 50 odd million and came back with Ben White. I think that's a travesty.
Yeah, facts.
I think, bro, if you're going there, but then again, Jamie, you do have a lot of options in that midfield area. But yeah, man, Basuma, I'm getting bored of singing his praises now. Do you get what I'm saying? Because in that position, he's pretty much got it all, man.
Yeah.
And I think with him, it'll be so interesting to see what a top class manager can kind of do to his game.
For sure.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think he's due that big move now. So.
Yeah, no, for sure,
he's due.
man. For sure, man. It'll be interesting whether they try to kind of expand on his current talents or make him hone in on certain things.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying?
because I feel like he's got so much to his game. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
can
that-
people
that-
sleep on
yeah.
his dribbling as well.
Bro, he's very good at that. I think, what was that stat that you brought? Like, last season he had the most like ball recoveries or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I feel like in that position, outside of those teams, he's probably the best in his position, man.
So, but you take him over Declan Rice, yeah?
I think so, man. I think so. Just because he has more to his Arsenal.
Over Antonio?
Yeah, because I feel like...
Yeah, do you think he's the best player on his team? Because Antonio's on a mad one right now.
Yeah, he is. I think for me, though, I think effectiveness and being the best player are two different things. And I think for Antonio, it's probably much easier for him to be effective. You don't need to be a great player to score goals. Not saying that Antonio isn't a great player. He does his job, you know what I'm saying? And he does score goals, so you have to give it to him in that sense. But yeah, man, if Antonio doesn't score goals, what does he bring to obviously,
game,
of course, like, he's a hard worker, you can hold up the ball or whatever, but I feel like as a striker, if you don't do that to like, for example, we had a Giroud who some seasons he didn't get a lot of goals, but he brought in players so well to where it kind of counteracted that, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know whether the same holds true for Antonio, whereas for Basuma, I feel like he could take one aspect of his game, he's still got a plethora of other options to kind of go on. You know what I'm saying?
Couple guys we brought up. Another guy I bring up, Calvert-Lewin. I'll bring him up. Who was I going to say? Digne, I think should be in that conversation.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's one of the best left backs in the league.
I think the injury has like made him a bit. Like, I think I can mention a couple left backs. I think they're
Like,
yeah, but they're all like top clubs.
He's not a left back, but you could probably argue for Livermento.
fair enough. Yeah, you're saying
Digne.
bro, as a fullback.
As a fullback.
Bro,
Livermento?
Livermento.
No, it's only been
Obviously, I'm
couple
not saying
games.
he's better, but like, bro, like, he's like liver. You know me. I like a bit of Tino. You know what I mean. But now, look, let's not even like waste time. There's only one answer. The best player outside the top seven is Alisson Maximin, and I think it's clear. Let me tell you why. Obviously,
baller.
there's a number of guys. The other guy I actually had in my mind was Wesley Fofana as well. I think he's really... really
no,
good.
but he's Leicester, innit?
Oh, yeah, so he doesn't even count. So, Alisson Maximin, I think he is the best player outside of the Premier League. Top 7, because one thing... What we've been talking about all episodes.
Enlighten me.
Kids, attracting attention is where it's at.
Newcastle have niche
sec.
players. Of course, it's gonna attract. You
One
guys are
sec.
flipping Gucci
One
headband,
sec.
bro. Why would you attract attention? What the hell?
That's fair enough, but my thing is the fact that you can be such a threat to other teams when you are the only player on your team shows me how good you are. And the thing is,
Disagree. But
you can. But the reason why I think there's a difference is because there's literally a player that we can use as comparison for him, Adama Traore. What do we always say about Adama Traore in terms of how good he can be if he had end product? Like, his final ball is awful. It's atrocious.
But St. Maximin's end product ain't great.
It's not great.
Production ain't great. His what's it called? His end product is.
I don't think so.
Bro,
and I
let me
think
show you
his
something.
decision
Let
making
me
is
show you
suspect
something.
as
Let
well.
me show you
This is
something. Of
obviously
course.
picking hairs, but I'm
no,
just saying
of
that.
course. But this also comes with the team that he
Would you
plays
have?
for.
Would you? Hey,
One sec. This comes with the team that he plays for.
Yeah,
Before you
yeah.
ask that question as well, bro, I have a literally comparison from this season. So Maximin attempts more passes than Sadio Mane, completes more passes than Mane.
Yeah, that's because he's the main
One
man
sec,
on a
one
bad
sec.
team.
No, but you should have less because you're doing more. So it means your percentages should be down because you're playing with
your
less
percentages.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
He got
bro.
3 goals last season with a 15%.
I'm talking about your production. His production isn't great.
So what are you talking about then?
That's literally all that needs to happen. Him being on a good team, and then his production improves. Because literally,
But is he gonna convert?
if you let me
'Cause he
finish,
says conversion rate.
innit? Because with conversion rate, you also have to see how many shots he's taken as well, and all of that kind of stuff. I'm comparing him to Sadio Mane, one of the best wingers in the league this season. And Sadio Mane, yeah, maybe you might make the argument that he might not have had the greatest starts. However, Sadio Mane in all comps right now, I think, has over 5 goals already. And that's a bad season for him. Do you know what I mean? So with these percentages, passing, short passes, long passing, crossing, if you want to count that, passes in the opposition half, take-ons, he's taken on and being more successful. Bro, Sadio Mane's take-ons are right now at a 1. And Alisson Maximin's are at a 4.8. Putting that into perspective, I don't know the percentages for that, converting that, but it's out of 5. That's crazy.
Nah, but I
And
think
then
we know his take-ons are set.
take on success rate as well. Bro, he's at a high rate. So I think he's got all the tools now to take what he has, what he's capable of, put that in a good team. And bro, you get the production. Production
But
isn't...
that's a different argument. That's a different
production,
argument.
Just one sec.
Yeah,
The reason why I'm saying he's the best player is because when it comes to the best player outside of the top 7, production isn't an argument or a strong enough one to be the sole one or the fundamental one because you're playing on a bad team.
I still think it's a big factor though.
I don't think it's as big. Just because
I don't
we
think it's
produce
as
in a
big.
small, because we've seen people in small teams produce and
But
they go
still
to a
be
big team
average
and not be
players.
able to
Yeah, no,
produce.
for sure.
So I don't think it's that big.
But there's no guarantee that St. Maximin's. You know,
I think
let me
there
bring
is.
up a name
I think there is.
that, and I also think the thing with St. Maximin, the sample size that we're talking about is small. 7 games, and I think that's
No. But that's it's also okay. Cool. We're doing the comparison or the stats on this season. But
you're saying he was the same guy last season.
If I do last season's one,
yeah. And let me bring up a name that I'll be very intrigued to see if you have St. Maximin over this guy, based on his body of work. Also, Zaha.
No.
Based on his body of work,
No. Because
I'll take Zaha over something.
I wouldn't take Zaha over St. Maximin. Why would you take? Because if you took
Zaha's-
what's Zaha's body of work?
I think
Zaha's been the main man at Palace for a very long time now.
And where has that got him?
No, but what's this got? Where's Newcastle
Maximin's
now?
already-
17th, 18th.
Don't say that because Crystal Palace have also fought relegation as well.
No, but I'm saying
majority
no.
of
But
the time.
if you're saying it as
And
you said,
St.
why did
Maximin
they
plays
get
for the
Zaha?
worst team?
I think yeah,
He does.
He
You can't make that.
Yeah, no, he
argument.
plays for worst team.
He
No,
definitely
you
plays for
can't make
worst
the
team.
argument
He
there.
definitely plays for a
Because
worse team.
St. Maximin ain't taking
But
Newcastle.
I just don't think even
Yeah,
though
Zaha ain't taking Newcastle anywhere. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Crystal Palace anywhere. That's why I said the argument's redundant because both players can't carry bad teams.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
I just don't think even though he's played in the worst team, I just don't think what he does merits this in my opinion, innit? And cool, you threw out some stats.
Daniel just wants him at
Presence.
Chelsea. That's
And
why he's
last
loving
year-
him.
Hold on, hold
One
on,
sec.
hold on.
It's just to rebuttal what he said. Last year, Newcastle finished above Crystal Palace.
fine.
And that is Sir Maximan's effect. So let's not do that.
Not necessarily.
No, but Zaha had a bad year last year. Let's not
Sir
forget
Maximan
that.
was one of the biggest reasons why Newcastle finished that high.
Yeah, but let's not forget.
Because of his impact. You don't, and what did we say off cam? You don't need to produce numbers to have huge impact on your team, and that's what Sir Maximan does for his team.
Because going back to the
I think
original
Steve
argument,
Bruce,
best player outside this top 7, is it about based on performances this year or of a longevity and body of work? Because
I think even
I'm not just gonna say based
Sir
on this
Maximan
year.
doesn't have the same body of work. Like he's not been in the league for 10 years.
This isn't
So,
this
if you were picking a player tomorrow to put into
One of the
your
big
3
teams,
because you all support the big
Who has
teams.
out of Zaha? Oh my days! Out of Zaha, because this is an argument or a debate for this. Out of Zaha and Sir Maximan, who goes into the top 6 teams and has the biggest effect?
Bro, Arsenal wanted Zaha, bro.
What does that mean? Sir Maximan wasn't even in the league when Arsenal wanted Zaha.
Okay, cool. You're saying that this guy's had such a great impact.
Just answer
on
my
him.
question.
Hold on.
Just answer my
I'm
question.
still taking Zaha.
Bro,
but
get to
you're
this,
saying
get
this guy
to
has had such a great impact on his team last season. In the summer, no one went in for him, bro. There was no conversations regarding Sir Maximan.
There were no conversations last season for Zaha.
Okay, cool. That's fine. But then you're the one. I'm not arguing for Zaha.
cool.
Zaha came with a bad year, though.
Cool.
I'm
And
saying-
then if you want to talk about discussions, who's hot right now? Liverpool, Chelsea, all want Sir Maximan. So what are you talking about?
But Liverpool, their reason for wanting him is more so because of depth, as opposed to him being.
It's more so because of depth. I disagree. I
I don't know if
disagree.
you can go off that as the grading as the
Bro,
best player outside. the
Exactly.
top
I didn't even want to go down that line, but if you do want to go down that line, Sir Maximan wins right now because the big teams want him.
I mean, you could say the same.
Yeah, well, you could say it's a
Of
flash in the
course-
pan.
No, I know. No, don't say
But Bassoon's been doing it for a while.
argument.
No, but my point.
You brought up that
My
factor.
point is, there's players outside of that top 7, whatever, who have been more linked to top clubs above Alan St. Maximan.
No, but the point is, the reason why that isn't a factor is because right now, Alan St. Maximan is probably one of the hottest commodities in the league. But I'm even saying it's not a factor because that changes with the win, that changes with form.
Which is fair.
Yeah, so I'm saying
Okay,
it's,
but
I'm just rebattaling that factor. I'm not even trying to use
I'm
it.
not even talking about just based on, because what you're talking about is not even based on what happened in the summer window. You're based off the 7 games that he's played so far this season.
No, I'm not.
And you know why I bring up? Wait.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm
This is what I'm
saying-
saying. No, hold on. You said that he had such a great season for Newcastle last season. My
Yes.
point is, if he had such a great season, there was no talks about him in summer, and that's off the back of
Bro,
a whole body of
great
work.
season.
Let me tell you
I'm
now.
talking about selling,
Let me tell
the
you.
whole campaign.
Cool, 2 things. One, in terms of production, if you really do want to criticize him for his production, he's already 1 goal away from his best season.
Oh crikey! Three goals. He scored.
Yeah, 3 goals, bro. He's already got 2
Crikey.
goals this year. So if we're talking about improvement on production, he's slowly improving that on a bad team.
I mean, 3 goals
One
isn't
sec-
much to-
Alright, cool, you
see
can
what I'm
banter,
saying?
but we're basically arguing about the attacking players who we think are the best and who can have the biggest impact on their teams. I've literally told you, and I don't honestly you believe that. Who do you believe has a bigger effect on the Man City, the Man United, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, Zaha or Sir Maximan? Just answer that
I
question.
think Zaha, bro.
And I disagree
I
with
think
that.
Zaha.
I don't think you believe that either.
I do- 100%
Who
do
think?
believe
It's
that.
your opinion, innit?
I'm not gonna say St. Maximan
Hey,
based off 7 games.
What has this guy? What has he?
No, I'm just saying. I don't think last season he pulled up
That's
trees.
what I'm saying. Yeah, he did,
I'm saying he was
did last
Newcastle's
season.
best player, and they finished above Crystal Palace,
Yeah. But that was a bad year for Zaha.
and that was a terrible Newcastle team, and Newcastle have been terrible.
No, but-
they signed a 40 million striker in Joe Linton.
Yeah.
They play with John Joe Shelby.
No, but
John
Callum
Joe
Wilson's the main
Isaac
man.
Hayden.
Callum Wilson's the
Callum
main man.
Wilson, but he was injured a lot last season.
Yeah.
Isaac Hayden is still starting for a Premier League team. No disrespect to him, but I just don't think he should be playing for a team that finished 12th. They finished what?
Let's not forget Villa, that the team that Newcastle they got rid of half the team by the way.
Yeah. Villa, but you have to remember with Villa, Grealish. There were talks of Grealish ages ago. For example, when Aston Villa got relegated, why didn't they buy Grealish straight away? Because they weren't sure about buying a player like him straight away. Obviously, you want to wait for body
He
of
was
work.
much younger than.
But that would be my argument against St. Maximan. I want to see it for longer because we've seen a lot of guys
you-
have a flash in the pan, and that's why I'd take Zaha over him because he's done it for so long. Do you get what I mean? That I say
So Maximan's 24.
He's not gonna get
so
any
he is
worse.
Still young, very young.
Zaha.
97.
But I'm saying,
Bro, he's your age, mate.
in comparison, shut the hell up. In comparison to the age that Grealish was at when Aston Villa got relegated,
Let me check.
they weren't around the same age.
No, but
Grealish was
24,
much younger.
24 is literally a beautiful place for you to be nurtured. Like, it's the perfect age for you to then make the next
But
step
let's
in
not
your
get
career.
away from the
And
argument. Let's not get away from the argument. The argument was who's the best player outside the top 4,
and
regardless of age.
Maximin. And no. Of course, it's regardless of age.
Exactly.
Why age? No.
What has he done?
That's my opinion.
What has he done?
He's shown that he is capable of playing at the next level.
How?
Because we've seen performances for Newcastle where he's performed.
Give me 3 spectacular games there for Newcastle.
So you need spectacular games?
No. But you're saying that he's...
Off the back of your head, give me 3 spectacular games from Zaha.
From Zaha? Zaha's not my argument.
Give me, off the back of your argument, give me 3 spectacular games from Basuma.
Arsenal, when he was running around laughing after the game.
He wasn't even great in that game.
He did play well in that game.
He did
play well in that game.
Not spectacular,
Yes,
bro. You said spectacular.
Bro, was that not memorable?
What a spectacular? No, it was memorable because he was laughing.
Huh? And why did he have the right to laugh in that manner? Because
Arsenal didn't get into Europe.
No.
Yes.
Just quick, I don't know how long you want to go with this, but we got 3 minutes on that one. Should we sort of like go around and because it is the argument's not Zaha versus St. Maximin, it's who's the best player
outside the top 6.
Down is St. Maximin.
I'm not dying on it. I just think it's St. Maximin.
I don't think you believe. Just to give you a couple of names, I don't think have even been mentioned. Like for me, my choice would be Rice, but like
Rice.
Rafinha's not been mentioned.
Rafinha is needs to be mentioned.
Baller
has not been.
But again, this is now my point. It's easier to look at because what Rafinha does.
I take Rafinha over St. Maximin.
But the reason why people can say that though, and honestly, you might disagree, but I've always said the team that you play for hinders the way you're able to produce, the way you're able to be effective. And I think Rafinha benefits from playing in a very expansive... Bro, Rafinha can score in the game, but Leeds can still lose very, very badly because there's opportunities there. Bro, Newcastle play in such a way where Mr. Maximan rarely gets opportunities, and I've literally shown you that he's literally doing everything better than
don't you think that's one of the best players? Don't you think that helps him stand out?
If he rarely gets opportunities, then what is your sample size that you're basing this whole argument on then?
No, rarely.
Because you're saying that...
You're talking about his traits.
That makes him even better. Yes, it's his traits.
What do you mean his traits?
What is easily transferable to the top teams, and also how well does he perform with those traits? I think those traits are very, very
useful. Traits
useful.
that you're rarely able to see because of the team that he plays with.
No. What you're rarely able to see is how effective he can be with other good players because he's not playing with a lot of good players.
Do you think that he's a bigger gamble than someone like Rafinha?
I think they're both gambles.
That's not what I'm asking.
I think they're at the same level. If you're saying what's the biggest...
No. Lost your mind. For a bigger team.
Yes.
A bigger team. Why would I come and get a guy who, like you said, he rarely gets a chance to display his true talents because of his team, as opposed to someone like Rafinha, who, cool, Leeds aren't the greatest of teams here, but they do play a style of football
that open game,
somewhat transferable to some of the big
perfect, brilliant stuff. Chelsea, I can reverse that by saying the fact that Alan Saint-Maximin is able to produce or impact players that aren't even great. Bro, Rafinha's playing with much better ballers. Bro, Rafinha's playing with a double-digit striker, first of all. Mm-hmm. He's playing with other attacking outlets that run with... Who's the second best player on Newcastle?
The first best player is Callum Wilson. Saint-Maximin is the second best player.
Okay, cool. Even if you want to say that, because Callum Wilson is experienced, like you can actually...
So he's got an experienced striker. Who's better, Callum Wilson or Patrick Bamford?
Who's scoring though? Who's scoring
That's
more?
What I'm asking you.
And Callum Wilson got injured for most of the season. He was out for half the season, so you can't use the same argument.
And he's injured right now.
So as the main man last season, he was able to do what?
Take away Callum Wilson. Who are the top three? He was able to finish 12th above some, and Newcastle should not
individually, bro.
Individually,
and for me, a large part of Newcastle's success was due to Steve Bruce. Not even due to Saint-Maximin.
That's a lie, bro.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
If we're talking about impact,
the guy scored 3 goals last season.
If we're talking about impact performances, I even forgot about it because obviously it's hard to bring out performances when you're talking about Newcastle. If you remember the West Ham game at home where West Ham were pushing for top 4, Newcastle were able to beat West Ham. I don't know if you remember that game. Saint-Maximin was instrumental against Tottenham as well. Against Tottenham where they came to St James's Park, Saint-Maximin was ripping. Bro, Saint-Maximin was making Dyer dance like this, do left and right.
Couple things.
All I'm saying is, because obviously it's taking long, everyone can say their last thoughts. Yeah. My last final thought is, look, at the end of the day, I understand your arguments. There's always arguments for and against. However, Alan Saint-Maximin for me has the traits, and a large part of it is traits. It might be weaker than the Rafinha argument, who has a lot of performances, but I'm saying literally what doesn't help him in his favour is the team that he plays for. He's not able to show everything he can, and he's not able to rely on his teammates. The reason why he might do too much as well is because he can't rely on the teammates. Bro,
do you think that? Do you really think that?
I do, bro. I do.
So you think his decision making gets better on a
For example, you might disagree, but again, it's with the Hazard debate. A lot of Chelsea fans argue Hazard's production would have been better if he was given a team like Oscar, KDB, Costa, continuously. Bro, he had to work with a lot of scraps at times where we didn't build the best of teams around him, bro.
But don't you think that made him even more special? The fact that he was working with trash, but he was still looking like a diamond.
But imagine you then gave him special players.
I don't think that makes him play better though.
No, I think it makes him look better. Definitely it does. Because
I don't think so. Because some guys play better when you put more on their plate.
No. But when Hazard, that came out of your mouth still. When Hazard got a good team though, we looked at a better team. That's my point.
But was Hazard better?
Yes, of course the player doesn't get better necessarily.
That's the point that I'm making.
But the team but that's a large part of what you're judging him on. Like the production with the team that he has isn't as great as it should be for someone that I'm saying is the best player. However, I'm saying he doesn't have a good enough team to have that production. So we can only go based off of the traits and the impact he has. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I just think personally for me, an attacker who shines out should be the best player in it rather than midfielders. Obviously, I like Declan Rice, I like Basuma, I like them picks, but I'll go with St. Maximin, and I just think he's most transferable as a player to the top 16. That's what you're looking for in a best player outside the top 7, in my opinion, anyway.
And that point is why I would take Basuma, because when you're talking about transferable to the top teams, I think he would not, look like an odd man out. You could put him in any of the top teams, and he won't look like an odd man out.
Therefore, I think.
St. Maximin, I don't think you can say the same.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for the same reason, man. I feel like, we've seen attackers who maybe aren't so. They don't necessarily put up great numbers, but you can see what they kind of do to make the team tick or whatever. I don't think St. Maximin is necessarily great in that regard to where we can ignore his production and look at what else he brings. I don't think I've seen enough of that, really and truly, to think that I could slap him in a Man City and think that he'll, shell it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, yeah, for me, I think Basuma, I want to stick with Basuma, but I do think, like you said, Adam, that Rafinha is definitely a very good honourable mention, man.
For sure.
At transferable skill sets. So
Cool, we'll leave it there, man. Last segment of the day. Obviously, we started this 2 weeks ago, but we're going to carry it on. Start, bench, sell. Obviously, there's going to be graphics coming out this week, obviously, for you to engage with on the Insta pages. Adam, do the honours.
Hey, let us know your thoughts in the comments, man.
Wicked.
You always do that.
Fresh, innit? That's what we got to do with this segment. So, Pep was singing the praises of Verratti.
He's so good. I'm in love.
So I wanted to do the top 3 around sort of like puppet masters. Who are the guys that control the tempo, get the teams playing? So 3 picks for this week.
Oh, I don't do this
Verratti,
to
the
you.
man himself. Jorginho.
I knew he was going to be there.
And then De Jong from Barca.
Frankie.
Ooh.
De Jong at Barca.
I'll go first, innit? Start Verratti, sell bench Jorginho, and sell De Jong. Look, I love Frankie De Jong. I still think there's huge Ajax stocks there. It's a bit like in an argument where we might be wanting to pick one of the like
the lit or something.
Bro, let's look at the Ajax team from that year. No one's doing well. No one. The lit, I wouldn't say he's had good performances here and there, but he struggled. Frankie De Jong, obviously, he's a victim of a bad team. I think he's played well, but
Donny van de Beek ain't been given a chance.
Donny van de Beek.
True. The victim of a bad team.
I don't think Juventus are bad though.
They are bad.
Defensively, they're not bad. They're known for their defense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they ain't been what they've been before.
Yeah, they ain't been. And then obviously last man Ziyech, not been that guy at all. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm not sure what Dusan Tadic is on these days, but like
last season he was still doing best.
Yeah, man. So I'm start Verratti, sell bench Jorginho and sell De Jong.
I'm gonna go start Verratti, bench De Jong, sell Jorginho.
Hypocrite though. Your manager wanted Jorginho more than anything in the world. I'm just saying.
What's that got to do?
You're not a puppet master for your manager.
What's that got to do with me?
Not a puppet master for your manager.
Shut up.
Joking,
but yeah, for me, I think that I highly rate Jorginho, but I think De Jong is more versatile, man. For me, I think that
questions puppet master though.
Huh?
Questions who's the best at controlling the game.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Jorginho has always kind of been instilled in the Chelsea team to control the game, but he didn't do that well. He didn't do it that well under Lampard's philosophy. He's done it very well under Tuchel, but I think someone like De Jong, he could do the same role under different managers. That makes sense, just because he's a more versatile player.
Do you think De Jong's better at controlling the game than Jorginho?
I don't think he's better right now, currently, but I just think that
Jorginho
is as good as the manager allows him to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think De Jong's the better player too. But I think in regards to the question, innit, I think Jorginho is better at control. Like, if you needed someone to control a game, who would you put? It's just in regards to the question. Yeah, I'm picking your brain.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I had a team and had those 3 players, I'm not looking at it just like on an individual basis. I'm looking at if I had the team and I had these 3 players.
Who you benching?
Like,
and who
I'm
you
starting Verratti. I'm benching De
Frankie.
Jong because he can control the game, but he's very versatile. I'm
Does
selling
other
De Jong
stuff.
because it's like.
Selling Jorginho.
I mean, yeah, sorry. I'm selling Jorginho because he's just. Yeah, he's
Limited.
Yeah, limited. More limited than the other 2, innit, I think.
So yeah, I'll start Verratti, special player. Just hope he could stay fit a little bit more. I'd bench Frankie De Jong. Special player, man. As you said, versatile. Does a lot of different things. Just sad that he's in a shit Barca team, but hopefully things turn around. And then Jorginho, I'd sell Jorginho. Good player, but you know, as you said, he's limited. So I'd take Jorginho.
Oh, that's fair enough, innit? Cool. I guess that's where we can leave it for today. Interesting selections, of course.
He's not happy.
Nah, I'm not grinding, innit? Like, Jorginho's not someone I'll die on the hill for. I think he's got the credit that he deserves. I've been screaming about Jorginho when he went through. Yeah, he's got his flowers now. I don't think De Jong can personally get to Ballon d'Or shout levels. So
You only got that because of the trophy cabinet.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, man.
if you're the common denominator in a team's success, bro, you can't take that away from him. But yeah, man, it's been 3 up top. Obviously, it's Dan the man with a plan, of course.
It's your boy JK, the king ingredient, man. I stay out of it. I do my thing. Governance.
That's a governs. Should put it down, man.
The blood clot cannon. In a bit, man.
Deuces.